Hello, everyone. Welcome to ENAC, the 90 days journey of enabling newness. Today is a very special episode because we have a special guest in the person of Evangelist Emeka Ezera. Welcome.
Thank you so
Welcome to the
much.
show.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's such an honor to have you on the show, right?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here also. It's
Yes,
a privilege.
yes. And I also want to say that it was because of him that I started this podcast because I remember when I was led to start, God told me to look for like a prototype, like to look for somebody who is doing something similar.
Mm.
So that's why I decided to listen to the Redeemed. By the way, if you've not listened to the Redeemed podcast, pause this episode, go back, listen to it on
Listen to her,
Spotify,
please. She's correct.
YouTube, Apple Podcasts. But when I did that, I love the teaching. Yes,
Mm.
I know it changed something inside of me and it just sparked the desire to do mine as well. So thank you very much. It's an honor
Thank
to have
you.
you.
Privilege, yeah.
So first off, you have an addiction story,
I do.
right? You've helped people or you train people, you help people out of addiction.
Mm.
But what's your story like? What happened? Background of the story. What was your turning point? At what point did you decide, oh no, it's enough? Like, what was it like?
So, ah, this is going to be like movie. But, so it all started when I think SS1, I think, SS1 or SS3, one of the two. I remember I was going home. No, sorry, they had just bought for me a phone, a Nokia C100.
Yeah.
I don't know if you people know the phone or something like that. So it was Nokia C1 or so. So the phone was boring. I think that was the time MTN was giving like 10 gig or something like that. Is it 10? Not 10 gig, sorry, 10 MB.
Okay.
You know,
I totally can remember.
I know. Don't worry. So the phone was quite boring. Apart from just playing sneak games and whatnot or what. So I remember I was going home and two of my classmates were at my front. They were walking ahead of me, but they were hushing, they were whispering. They were whispering. And I wanted to know what they were saying because they did not want to allow me,
Were you a man of God at that time?
No,
Did you have tendons?
I mean, SS1. I did not have any.
Yeah, and
any
some people, there's some people like that.
well, no. I would just say I was a good boy, in a way. Because I know a lot of people did not believe I'll be doing this by now. So I will be doing this, what I'm doing now. So I was behind them and I heard the name of a site. Obviously, I'm going to repeat it here. And I heard the name of a site. And they said, oh, Omo, the pictures that we'll see there. So I went there, and that was how my life just went, downhill. I remember opening the site, and that was just how everything just went. I was addicted to pornography. I was addicted to masturbation, and yeah, it carried on to the university. I think I remember saying that I wanted to attend a particular university because I just wanted to spoil,
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to spoil. But then, as God will have it, someone entered my mom's shop during that period and said, "Oh, there's this school. I think your son should attend the school." Blah 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 blah. I went to school,
What school?
Covenant University.
Oh, wow.
So I went to Covenant. 100 level. I came into the school, everybody was speaking in tongues. I'm like wondering what's happening here, what's going on, what's kind of hypocrisy. First, at that point in time, I used to like taunt men of God. I used to like laugh at. In fact, I remember going for my pursuit TME, and there was this street preacher that entered the bus. I was traveling to Lagos with my mom, and I was laughing at the man because he was speaking in tongues. I couldn't speak in tongues. I thought every day he was a I thought he was a charlatan, I thought he was a liar, you know. I and entering school, I saw people just, speaking in tongues, people just on fire. That was when, I received life of Christ and everything began my journey. But
You had
my
a
addiction,
program or like
it wasn't a program.
what happened
It
because of
was an
your
argument.
okay.
So we were required, in 100 level, we were required to go for something called, we used to have floor fellowship. So every floor in the hostel had floor fellowships.
Okay.
So there was this guy named Festus, short man. He's still short. If you see this, he was teaching or he was preaching and he said, whatever I do, I'm still righteous. And I told him that you're a liar. Something's wrong with you. And we started arguing. And he said, have you read the Bible? And it just dawned on me that I was arguing without reading the Bible. I've never read the Bible before. Not I've never read the Bible, but I've never just read it with intentionality. Probably I read it for memory verse. I read it for all of those things you do when you're in Sunday school. So he said, have you read the Bible before? I said, no, I've not. He said, you know what? Have you read Romans? I said, okay, I'm going to read it. For the sake of this argument, I'm going to read it. So I sat and I read Romans for the first time. And I'm just seeing righteousness by faith. How through one man sin came, and through another man the gift of righteousness came. It blew my mind. So that was when I went, he introduced me to some men of God I listened to. I was not listening to any Nigerian preacher at that point in time, I remember. But that was the thing. The thing was, I think the next semester I began to speak in tongues. But what had happened during that time was I received the life of Christ and I was growing. I was growing in knowledge. But at the same time, what was happening also was that I was not free from my addiction. So I knew grace, or I knew salvation in my head, but it had not crystallized in my heart. I lost an argument, but that did not mean that I had taken the message of salvation as my identity. So it went on. It really didn't go on for a long time. After school, I was like, you know what? Because now, after school, or whenever we would finish school, go on holidays and stuff, I would fall bad. Anytime we finish school, it was looking like school was my safe haven.
It was like the environment that was helping.
The environment was helping me, right? So, but whenever I came back, I'll fall bad, and it was just looking like I was a hypocrite. I was looking for help. So, I think we had just finished school. I think 400 level done, final year, and I saw because I was looking for help, I was praying. So I saw on Twitter there was this man that had posted about his addiction story, but his addiction story was different. You see, this guy, not only was he addicted to pornography and masturbation, he was addicted to sex, addicted to cocaine, addicted. He had forced his girlfriend at that time to have an abortion for him. What else? There were just many things that he had done. Then he now finished the testimony with, right now, God has been merciful to me. I have a daughter. At that time, he had a daughter, and he had a very beautiful wife. Or he still has a very beautiful wife. So I said, okay. I sent him a message. I said, hey, sir, I would like to meet you. He was just a normal guy then. So we met and I told him everything. I'm like, guy, this is what I'm going through. I'm not going through half of what you've gone through. That's what I told him. Look at your life. Look at the life you lived. Like, I've not, why can't I stop it? And he looked at me and he's like, after he told me his story, he explained it properly to me. He told me, guy, just look unto Jesus. That's what he told me. It sounded like rubbish to me. It sounded like I'd wasted my travel money,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it did sound like that. I wasted my travel money going to meet this guy, thinking I was going to get like a solution. Maybe he was going to lay hands on me. That was going to be
an encounter.
And he said, just look unto Jesus. That was I didn't like it. But something happened after that meeting. Because I didn't have a job, so there was a lot of free time. So there was a lot of going to meetings. Some of my friends, would host meetings. There was also there was going to be a pandemic, but the pandemic hasn't started. But there were just meetings that I was going for. I was meeting with friends. So there was a lot of fellowship with Christ at that point in time. And I found out that for a long time it didn't happen. So I'm like, oh, this is what this guy was talking about. I had been preoccupied with growing. I'd been preoccupied with just growing, praying, studying, that I didn't see anything. Like it's vanished. It stopped. But it's the ended though. So my story is not that dramatic in the sense of someone laid hands on me. My story is the kind of story where I understood who I was. So the gospel, my identity through the gospel crystallized in my spirit. Like I just knew who I was. And then I learned how to put the body under. Even though I've seen people that, in fact, the person I went to go and listen to, the person I approached, his own just happened once. His own was so dramatic. He saw Jesus or he saw an angel, blah, 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 blah. It happened to him. I wish it happened to be like that. In fact, I have disciples that I have laid hands on and the desires died. They just fell and the desires died. And when you're telling me I'm jealous of them, I'm like, is it that easy?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you get? But for me, it was a process of learning what triggers my flesh and putting it under. That is it for me.
This points to one of the questions I wanted to ask you later, but since you've already spoken about it, because there are believers who believe that they need an encounter to be able to get free from the addiction. I think at some point in my life, I used to pray for an encounter that would just kill the desire, but it's different for different people, and rightly so, right?
So it's different for different people. Some people can have a dramatic encounter. I think those people that have dramatic encounters are for signs. They are there to be a sign to the body of Christ as it is possible. But they are still. It's like normally it's just like healing, miracles. You can lay hands on someone, the pain leaves. And there are some people that you pray for, they still have to go to the hospital, and that doesn't mean that their healing was not divine. For me, it was the scripture, Galatians chapter 5 verse 16. It says, walking now in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So because the lust of the flesh is like you have grown in the lust of the flesh, in the sense of, if you're 26 years old, you're 25 years old, for 25 years you've been training yourself in your five senses, you'll be training your flesh. Your flesh has always gotten what it wanted. Now you are just saved for 1 year. You've not been saved for you're a newborn, you're born again in Christ. This is just 1 year, this is 2 years. You're now, for the first time, you're telling your flesh no. Obviously there's going to be resistance.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that training, there's that putting it under. And the truth is that you never stop putting it under. It's always going to be a struggle.
Die daily.
You have to die daily. That's the word.
All right. Thank you very much. That was actually very inspiring.
Yeah.
So another question is, for an unbeliever that may be listening, there are different ways society would push to people that they can get over addiction. For example, you have recovery groups and non-profits that are for the purpose of helping people who are struggling with this thing. And I dare say some actually have success stories. So how would you talk to that person right now and tell the person that truly your true freedom comes in the faith, comes by knowing Jesus, comes by accepting your identity in Christ.
Yeah. So there's a reason why I only talk to believers when it comes to like addictions. And the reason is because you need to understand that an addiction, contrary to what many people think, is just a result of, is a fruit of the actual issue that is going on in your life. You know, many times a lot of people run to pornography because there is something that is empty. You know, I had a friend, we're not friends, but he was a roommate. I think that that's the proper word. He was a roommate in 100 level, because the way my school does it is that you can come into Covenant University with an awaiting, is it WAEC result, right? As far as you have your jam is, you are coming with a, so you have, if you fail WAEC, you probably want to wait for NECO. You can use your NECO and slip it in.
Yeah.
So we had this guy coming. He was my roommate. I can't forget it. So I just received the life of Christ. I started speaking in tongues. Immediately I was struggling to, say no to pornography. Because I was like, I don't want to watch. I was already being convicted. But this guy comes along and says he's watching pornography for research purposes. Now, he was not joking. I know it sounds funny, but he was not joking. He said it was for research purposes. I know it sounds odd to someone that's listening. But he was watching so that I don't know what he said once he wanted to learn. For some reason, he didn't get into the school because both his WAEC and his NECO didn't cut it.
Okay.
So he deferred his admission. Okay. So he had to go back. Home. 300 level. Yeah, 300 level. I think 300 level. He came back to school. Okay. That's when I saw him. When I saw him, I'm like, oh my God. We greeted. I went to his room as my former roommate. He came back and we sat down. He told me, Emeka, do you know that when he went back, he fell into depression and he went to pornography. He turned to pornography for satisfaction.
No research purpose.
Now it's not research purposes now. Because now he needs to feel something in his heart. Do you get this? There's a hole in his heart that needs to be filled. And this is the problem. Pornography, alcohol, being an alcoholic, drugs, these are fruits of issues that need Jesus to, fill them.
Like a void.
It's a void. So when I meet people that are struggling with addiction and they are not believers, my first goal is to, hey, this is not Jesus' priority now. His priority is for you to receive the life of Christ. It's because it won't matter. Okay, you don't watch pornography and you go to hell. Okay. Do you get?
Yeah.
It's not better that you just become like, Hitler and you go to hell. You know that you go to hell than to like. What I'm saying is like, just be saved.
I understand what you're saying, definitely.
You get, the real deliverance is not casting out the devil, is not stopping the addiction, is accepting life of Christ. Yes. Also, because when I'm talking to believers, I'm talking to people that we have one Lord and one Master. So I'm able to tell them, don't watch pornography. I'm able to tell them, don't drink alcohol because you can be influenced. Scripture says that when talking about tongues, that we should be influenced by the Spirit and not how does it even say it in Ephesians? But you understand what I'm saying? So when I'm talking to people that are not believers, what do I see? If I meet a lesbian now or I meet a gay dude now, he's not a believer. What ground do I stand on to say, do not do what you are doing? We can all talk about it from the scientific point of view. We cannot talk about it from a scientific point of view by saying, looking at the male anatomy, we are not meant to be with another male.
Yeah.
Males are not meant to be with another male, but males are meant to be with females. But then, that does not hold water, because if you look at history, there are still people that messed up like that.
Yeah.
But if we come under one lawgiver, that is Christ, then we are able to say, look at the focal points. If this is the focal point, you're missing it.
So Christ is like the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So for someone who mentors, as a man of God, mentor people struggling with addiction, I feel like you've touched on it, but I want to go deeper, right? What do you think is an underlying effect, like a root cause of people who are struggling with this thing, that you've noticed, but they're not paying so much attention to?
Identity.
It's a problem.
Identity is the issue. Whenever I meet someone struggling with probably an addiction, beat whatever, it can be pornography, it can be gambling, whatever. There's a test I usually do for my disciples, first-time disciples. I tell them, do you have a mirror near you? Because many times they probably want to use burner accounts or fake phone numbers to call me, right? Or text me. That's what they all do. So I'll tell them, do you have a mirror close to you? And they'll say, yes, I have a mirror close to me. I'll say, okay, can you go to the mirror and look at the mirror? What do you see? And they say, oh, I see myself. I say, no. Who is the person you're seeing? And they say, my name is Emeka. I am a 300 level student in engineering. I say, no. What do you see? And that's where you begin to hear, I don't really think I'm all that. Yeah.
So sorry.
That's where you begin to hear, like, I don't really think I'm all that. I'm someone that always makes mistakes. Some of them begin to cry right there, because that is the way they see themselves.
Yeah.
And if that is the way you see yourself, that is the way you're going to behave. Do you understand? That's the way you're going to behave. So what we do, or what I do, is kind of crystallize how God sees them in their heart. Because that's what happens. When you begin to see yourself the way God sees you, you can't do anything. We just finished a crusade.
Yeah.
Before the crusade, I was preparing and I was asking the Lord, it always comes to my heart. People are coming. They are bringing different mountains in the sense of problems. They need help. I don't know what to do. Help me. I'm just praying. And the Lord tells me, it's not about what you see. It's about who you are.
Hey.
So it goes back to identity.
Yes.
Right? Mountains move not because of what you see, what you profess, but actually who you are. And in the spiritual realm, everybody knows when you have caught a revelation of who you are. So demons, I'm using this as an example to explain what I'm about to explain. You can cast out a demon by looking at somebody. I know it's not taught a lot, but it can be done. You can cause a manifestation out of somebody, like a demon. Like if someone has a demon, you can cause the person to start manifesting by just looking at the person. But it's not about looking. Obviously, you can go and look at anybody. But like, sure. It's about your consciousness. Who do you think you are? When you know that the mighty one lives inside of you, you can just, there are many times I'm casting a demon, I'm like, look at me. And manifestation, begins. It's the same thing with addiction. If you believe, someone has gotten you to believe that, hey, this is who you are. A circumstance has made you believe that you're a messy person. And that's not how God looks at you. You believe it, that's how you behave. When I was learning how to heal from someone, I was learning how to heal the sick from someone. He has a child, and he made a statement that stuck with me. How he trains up his children. He said if his daughter messes up, he tells the daughter, that's not who you are. You're a child of God. That's not how a child of God will behave. My father did that to me once. Once that I can remember, he sent me to go buy something and I lost the money. I genuinely lost the money. So when I came to him, he said, I know you. You didn't lose this money. And I'm trying to explain myself that I lost this money. Do you get? I lost the money. I can't find the money. He said, you're good with money and you're wise. You cannot lose this money. I'm telling you the truth. I know after that encounter, we went our separate way. He gave me on that money to go do that thing. But like I'm like, I'm wise. I can't.
Yes.
Do you get?
Took on that identity, yes.
I took on the identity. And it's the same thing. Wow. The way you see yourself matters. Identity is the root cause of sin and is the root cause of righteousness. What Christ died for, to give us is an identity, not just actions. When you read Romans, the book of Romans, you will see that sin is described as a noun and as a verb. The work Christ came to do was to destroy sin as a noun, not as a verb. Because by destroying sin as a noun, you are destroying it as a verb.
Wow. Drops mic. Wow, that was so powerful. Next question. Is all addiction demon influence?
Oh no. It's not. It's not. But it's not. It's a yes and no answer.
Okay.
When you say demon influence, you mean demon possession or something like that.
Yes.
But that does not mean that the idea does not come from a demon. So it's like homosexuality. The idea is better by demons. Okay. Maybe the first person to have done it must have been possessed by a demon. Okay. But the idea, it can travel to different people, and it's not they are not possessed by a demon. It's just that they got, initiated into the idea of, I think this works, why love is love and stuff like that. That's why movies are quite strong. At the beginning, when I started, I knew, because of my story, I knew I was not demonic. I was not possessed by a demon. So I started out by saying, addictions are not demon. You're not sponsored by demons. Blah 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 blah. After like some years doing ministry, I started seeing addictions that are sponsored by demons.
Is there a way to point it out, like if you're under that influence, like to know if you're actually under the influence of a demon? And of course, there are people who think they are possessed.
Many times, people that think that they are possessed are possessed. Yes. It will shock you. It will shock you. But many times, people that think they are possessed are definitely possessed. But one way you would know, sometimes there are ways to know if there's a demonic presence. The dreams are important. Many times the dreams, I know, I also did not used to like dreams, using dreams as an identifier, but dreams are one way to know if there is demonic presence in.
When you say dreams, you Like, can you give an example?
So I have treated cases. In fact, there's a testimony I've not posted it. I think it's quite sensitive, of a guy that has been sleeping with, like, figures coming to the room to sleep with him every night. Like, since he can remember anything. There's a lady that we had on the podcast that for a long time, since she was a little child, someone was sleeping with her.
Yeah.
And even built a house, in the spirit, and she had the house, children and stuff like that. So there are demonic cases like that. For her, she had like, her own was like, she had the sex addiction. She had a sex addiction, not necessarily pornography, but sex addiction. But it was sponsored by the devil. The addiction was sponsored by the devil. Also could not keep a marriage. There are just many things like that. Like I said, knowing if a demon is, if there's a demonic presence sponsoring what you're doing, you might just point back to your dreams. I don't know how to explain it.
Is there a template, or
there's not a template? There's no template, but there are basics to look out for.
Okay.
Many times they feel a presence, and whenever that presence is there, they are fearful. Many times those people see shadows. That's why I say there are some things that to the ordinary ear they might not like. What do you mean why they see shadows? But they see shadows. They know what I'm talking about. Anybody that has these experiences know what I'm talking about. You see shadows. When you're alone, you're fearful. There's a case where I was talking to someone. The person was like, she used to feel like a presence in her room, and she talks to the person, But like, there are just things happening, Sometimes it might not be like, they're just things that that this is not normal. If you already feel like this is not normal, it most likely is not normal.
But of course, there's the other side where you're not.
There's the other side where it is just habits.
Yeah.
Right? But many times habits will be sponsored by spirits if you are just consistent. So it might not have started out by a spirit backing it, but if you're not careful, spirits will begin to back it. I've seen cases where, funny things. I've seen cases where someone watches pornography, and after they watch pornography and masturbate and whatnot, they begin to dream that they were in school or secondary school. They are still having dreams of backwardness. It's funny, but it happens. I've seen cases where someone, this is where now a spirit has found a door to enter into his life. I've seen cases where someone slept with someone that they're not meant to sleep with. If you're a husband, you should also be sleeping outside of marriage. It happens, and they begin to have dreams of backwardness, and before you know it, they lose something.
That's crazy.
Wow,
that's a lot of information taken. But for somebody who is not for somebody who thinks they're possessed, right? Who thinks they're under the influence of demons, what's the next step? Of course, go to your pastor or do yourself.
Go to your pastor. Do yourself. You might not even be strong enough. When I mean strong enough, you might not be ready. You might not be able to do it yourself. But do yourself is quite easy. Do yourself is just Romans chapter 5 verse 12. An understanding of that, an understanding that I'm a believer now. You can cast out. I believe someone can cast out. You can cast out a demon yourself. Yeah. But many times, something to do is just go meet someone that can help you. You can send a message to the people here.
I send a message to him. He helps people, please.
So, that can work. But the thing is that, like I said, activities is. Let me explain this thing. The way demons do this thing is that. So, a demon, like I said, sponsors habits. So now it's supercharged. Does not mean that when you lose the demon, you do not still have to work on yourself. It doesn't even stop like that. You now have to work on yourself. You now still have to do the normal thing that the other normal people that do not have the demon is like they are doing, in the sense of, looking unto Jesus, knowing what triggers you, and stuff like that.
Okay, so it's like if they've left that void, you need to
It
replace.
becomes easier, but you still need to do the work.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? The habit can be sponsored, but when you remove the sponsor, there's still the habit.
Okay. So you still need to. Oh, okay.
You still
I
need to
understand
work
what you're
on it.
saying now. I understand what you're saying. Well, this has been a lot. I think the last thing I'll ask is, for somebody who is struggling, what's one last thing you want to say to them?
Know your triggers. What triggers you? Is it movies? Is it friends? Is it what? Music? In fact, let me tell you.
Please talk about this music thing. You need to talk about this music. Emphasize on it now so that people will know.
Okay. So let me say something. The things that you listen to and the things that you watch are very, very important. I believe that we are in an age where many believers, the consecrations that we should be hearing is, I don't watch movies, or I only watch one movie in a month. Those kind of consecrations, that's what we should hear in this time and day, because of how the devil has kind of used these tools to fight. Music is a very secular music that talks about trash. I've seen someone that has been demonically possessed by music. And I'm not saying that it's everybody's case, but I'm saying that music is just something that plants seeds in you. Music is very spiritual. It plants so much seeds in you that will germinate in such a short period of time. It can trigger you, not immediately. It might not happen immediately. It might happen in 1 week's time. You are wondering, I did not watch anything, but I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Something happened to you 1 week prior. Sin happens like pregnancy.
Yeah.
When the insemination happens to the delivery date, it's not the same time.
Word.
So, watch the music, watch the movies that you watch. Also, people, I learned this one the hard way. You shouldn't have people around you that not just can trigger, that says things about you that God does not say about you.
Okay.
Let me give an example. So Jesus was in the midst of his disciples, midst of his friends, and he's telling them about how he's about to die, and in the third day he's going to rise up. And Peter comes to him and says, "No, don't say that. Don't say that. Say God forbid, those kind of stuff." Friendly advice. He loves him. And Jesus says, "Get ye behind me, Satan, for you do not savor the things of God." Now, it is possible for your friend to speak words into your life that are not consistent with the words of Christ, and it will be prophecy and to happen.
Wow.
You can have a friend that can say, hey, that can hypothetically, women, it happens a lot with them. It happens a lot with guys too. I just have to say that before anybody drags me. So that you say, I've seen a lot of women call themselves bitch, right? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe for guys that are on the bad side, they might call themselves dragon. Maybe they are smoking, or chimney or something like that. And what happens here is that it's prophecy into your life. If someone does not say what Christ says about you, they're constantly trying to bring you to a point of competition, or trying to make you look at yourself the way God does not look at you. Stay away from such a person. So that's a trigger.
I think I would also want to add that who you're associating yourself with is very, very important,
Important, yes.
and that, you know, darkness will thrive in isolation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you mentioned somewhere in your story that at the time you were struggling, you you were reaching out to people.
I reached out to people. I reached out to a lot of people that even told me to pray. I should go to the altar and pray. I had a lot of embarrassing experiences.
Sorry. But you were reaching out to
Yes, I
people.
was.
Even personally, like if I have such loop, I would reach out to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and it just brings it to light and expels whatever is going on. So I think, just like you said, it's very, very important to just surround yourself with people who would speak positively into your life,
Yeah.
people who have somewhat of an experience. Get a
Mm-hmm.
mentor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get an accountability partner. Get mentors, people that you speak to, and your life will change. Basically, that's important.
Yeah, it like solves like 50%, if
Mm-hmm.
not more, of
Mm-hmm.
that problem.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I have someone too that I have someone I speak to, I go to, for accountability, right? Everybody should have accountability. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
God
for
bless
your
you.
knowledge. Really appreciate you.
I am privileged to be here.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.